Good morning and welcome to our Facebook Live this morning. My name's Jenny McCormack. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire in the UK. Thank you so much for joining us. It is here in the UK, it is Wednesday morning, 23rd of April, just after 10 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're joining live, I appreciate you could be anywhere in the world watching. So whatever time of day it is for you, good morning and welcome to you. If you're watching live, do say hi, excuse me, and let me know that you're here. It's always nice to know who's watching with us. If you're watching on replay, whether that is on Facebook or on YouTube, then if you have any queries or comments, or you just want to say something about what we've created or how we've created it, then just add in the comments section and I monitor those on a regular basis, and if it requires an answer or follow up, then I will do that with you. So our stamp set of the week is this one here, Happiness Abounds. And we used this yesterday for just some straightforward stamping and colouring in. Let me show you the card we made yesterday, which is here. It's this one. So we used a Melon Mambo. So this is a white note card, and it's got a Melon Mambo layer. And then I used one of the dies from the coordinating set and cut this little edge to make it look like it'd been torn out of a notebook. Oh, hi Glenda, I hope you're well. Must be late for you in the evening, isn't it, I think? And then I decorated the envelope in the same way and then just stamped the plain line art on the inside. Now I do think this lends itself to being stamped and left uncoloured as well, so I think I might have to include that in one of our projects. So today I'm going to introduce you to the coordinating papers, and they are called Hues of Happiness. The dies are called Blossoming Happiness, and the stamp set is Happiness Abounds. Just to confuse you, if you put the word happiness into the search bar of the Stampin' Up website, then you should find all of them in due course. So let me show you these. This is a quarter of a pack. So these sheets come 12 by 12 inches, and this is a quarter of a sheet. This is from my paper share, but it's a good way of showing you the sheets because most of mine have all been cut up. So obviously it's a floral design. Oh, not too bad, not too late for you, Glenda. So we have a floral design on a night of navy background. And then we have two sheets of these stunning flowers. So it's a complete sheet, so double this amount. And it changes in colour. So we've got Fresh Freesia, Gorgeous Grape, Night of Navy, Pool Party and Bermuda Bay, and there's a full sheet of that, and there's one of these here as well. So we've got Melon Mambo, Flirty Flamingo, and then it goes into Mango Melody and Daffodil Delight. So we have in the full pack you have two sheets of each of those. We then have an all over design with those lovely flowers. We have a similar sort of thing with the colour change with some small daisy flowers, and then we have a medium-sized set of flowers in a similar design. And if I turn these over, we have these lovely rainbow coloured sheets, and these match the obviously the colours on the other side. And it's these that we're going to be using today. We're going to be stamping on this designer paper. We have that one with the little crosses. We have that one which is all of those colours put in together. If I turn it that way, it might be better, mightn't it? And then little flowers and crosses on the Night of Navy background. So some really sweet pattern designs, and if you're not massive on florals, then you could use all of the reverse pieces. Let me slip that back into its pocket. Okay, now what's really good is that the dies coordinate not only with the stamp set but also with the papers, and these larger open flowers cut the flowers that are on the designer series paper. So for example, this one here has cut that one out. This one here will cut that flower out. There's one here for this flower. So not only do they cut the printed image, they cut the stamped image, and you also have them for the leaves, either the set of 5 like that, and then we have the set of 2, and again this coordinates with the stamp. So it's a really coordinated set. So we're not going to be using those dies today, we're just going to fussy cut, and what we're going to do is recreate these flowers on the top by stamping and, in our case today, fussy cutting around them for our design. It's extremely hot out there for us today. It was about 24 degrees when I went out, about 9 o'clock. Okay, so I've got some layers. Yes, I do too, Glenda. It's one of my, it was my first I have to have when I saw the new catalogue. So got a little bit on there. I'm going to cover that up. So I've got a granny apple green layer that's going to go onto a white card, and then I've cut this piece and I'm using the reverse for my background, like so. So that's going to be our base layer, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp onto this piece. So this piece has got the small flowers on one side, and I'm going to grab a block and not sure which ones I will stamp and cut out. We will see. So I'm just going to use early espresso, but you could use a coordinating colour as long as it doesn't sort of disappear into this piece. And I'm going to be using this little bit at the top because I want some of this yellow to coordinate, but I might use some of the pink as well. So all I'm going to do is just stamp straight onto the paper like that. And let's have this one here, and I might use a smaller, this is a little rose, put this on here, and let's have the base in the bit of red. So you could also create your own paper by colouring over either with ink pads or blends pens. You could scribble over with a blends pen and then cut that out, stamp onto it and cut it out. So I'm just going to fussy cut these, but as I said, the dies here would cut these out really straightforward, but we're just doing a simple stamp card today, so this would be perfect for somebody who doesn't have a huge amount of crafting supplies, because all you would need really are the papers and ink pad, so just espresso or black if you prefer, and a sentiment stamp or something similar if you've got peel-offs or anything else like that. I think they're still around. Hi Jeanette, I hope you're well this rather warm morning. Thank you for joining us yesterday as well. So we're just doing some straightforward stamping onto this designer paper, and this is from the Hues of Happiness papers, like so. So I'm not sure which ones I'm going to use. I may probably use 3. And when you cut them out, you can decide if you want a border around the edge or whether you cut them quite close. Entirely up to you. If you cut them with the dies, then you will get a small border around them. But obviously the nice thing is if you're using this paper and stamping on it, then the border is the same colour. It's not a white border. So just quickly cutting around here. And you could also stamp the leaves on some of the green sections. I've actually punched some leaves out, this one here, with the Boughs and Blossoms punch. I'm going to use those. Hi Catherine, good morning to you. I hope you're well. I wonder if you've been running already or hopefully just walking in this rather warm weather. So it's only a quick design today. So stamping onto designer paper. So it's just a different variation, and as I say, good for people who may not have huge crafting supplies. You don't need dies, you can just fussy cut them. And you don't need to do any colouring in. So if you're not a fan of colouring in, then this is a good way, a good way to get around that. And this is what we're going to be doing as part of our coffee and card this week. And I actually feel I want something a bit deeper on here because I think these are going to get lost. So let's add another one of these if I can fit it in. Just about. There is a smaller rose. I don't want to go too small. Hi Kay. So let's just pop this in that tiny little gap there. I was thinking I wanted it coordinating, but of course I don't want it actually disappearing into the background. So let's just cut that one out. Oh, bless you. So Glenda said she's never thought of using DSP this way. It's such an effective way of getting coloured images, and you can do it with anything. So if you even animals and things like that, if you've got some papers that have got blues or greys on, for example, you could stamp you know, the whales or the new elephants. But this particular one, because it's got this watercolour effect, it's really really effective, and there's nothing to stop you adding to that, which I'll show you. So you could use it as a base and then add, but as I say, if you're not a fan of colouring, this is a perfect way round that. So I'm not sure I'm going to use that. It's just too close. I could, of course, turn this round like that, but I had it that way deliberately to look like the sky and bushes, and then have our details down here. Only because I chose that particular piece, but you can imagine, you know, stamping in this blue would look really lovely. Well, any of the colours, let's be honest. Okay, so I am going to add a sentiment in a second, so I'll leave my ink pad out. Let's just have a little look at what it's going to look like before I add anything else. So for example, I could do something like that. Like so. Hope you can see that all right. So I'm actually going to add my sentiment, I think, at the top and do my decoration at the bottom. Just wondering, it just looks a little bit too, not really vivid enough. Let me have a look and see what other bits I've got to hand that I could use. So obviously here you've got this really deep pink and really deep purples. So you've got two choices here. You can either cut out these lovely flowers, or you can stamp and cut out from the reverse, and thank goodness you get two sheets. So I'm just wondering, no, perhaps I'll leave it as it is. Just thinking I just want to go a little bit more pink. Sorry, being a little bit indecisive today. I am going to add a little bit more pink. So you could use either side, and of course you could mix and match. So you could cut out some of these and some of those and mix them together. Hello, Jill. But I think I need, okay, let's have a little play with this, because what I might do is add a little bit of Melon Mambo to this flower here to make it a little bit deeper. So you can mix and match. So let's just do, so yesterday we did the colouring of the flowers on the card itself. Which I've sort of hidden from view. I'll find it in a minute. So I just want to make this a little bit deeper, so I'm adding with my Stampin' Blends a little bit of colour. Now bear in mind that this will go slightly lighter as well as it dries. Like that. And then I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo. Just to blend some of that in. There we go. If I just lift that up, you can see, hopefully. Just adding a little bit more colour to it. So and what you can do with this is, if you use a very light piece of paper to start with, you can make sort of variegated flowers and just tint the edges and things like that. So if you know your flowers, you could do that. Let's just try the other side of that, just to cover a bit more area. Okay, so that's better. I'm happy about that. It's got a bit more colour to it. And I might do the same with this one. Just add a bit of detail in the middle. But Stamping On Designer Series paper is always worth visiting. Have a look at the papers that you've got, especially ones with small amounts of texture. You can get you know, texture to your stamps without having to do any dry embossing, for example. Okay, like so. And I'm just going to add, I may or may not use this one, but I'll have a pink centre to this. And more of a yellow centre. Now I know I've mixed my flowers around a little bit, so these poppy-like ones, and I've got roses, but it doesn't really matter, does it? Okay, so let's have a look now. I've got a little bit more colour to play with. So this is my base. I've just chosen this from this piece here, and obviously you can cut out all of these flowers as well. Okay, so we'll put that on there. And then let's add these. Let's have this up and there. Like that. And then add a little bit of foliage in here. And I can cut this down if this is too big. And I could have also stamped onto some of the green and cut out the leaves like that. Okay, right, so I'm going to stamp my sentiment across the top first. So let's see what we've got here. I think sending many thanks for all you do. If I can find the right one. That one there will fit nicely across the top. Go. So I know this is not going to fit across my block, so I just put it on at an angle. Because it's photopolymer, you can see straight through it to get it lined up. Let's bring this down here and ink that up. Oh, got a bit carried away with my ink. I think we'll be okay. Okay, so there we go. Sending many thanks for all you do. Perfect for teachers and carers and the like. Now I'm just wondering if I'd be better with this colour of leaf. So what I'm actually going to do, because this is my backing, I'm going to punch out some leaves from there. So this is the Boughs and Blossoms punch. It was in the catalogue last year and it's been carried forward, so I know that that's all going to be covered up. And I just wonder if that would look better. Yeah, I think it does. Okay, so let's layer these together. I'll put this layer onto there. Find some glue. Hopefully this one will be This is just about empty, that one. I'm not sure this is much better. No. Just about. Okay, so a thin line of glue near the edge but not too close. Okay, now just be careful putting this down because the glue is going to go through. So I'm just going to place it lightly around the edges. There we go. And then glue that layer onto my card. Thank you, Glenda. So this stamp set, papers and dies are the feature of our classes this month, and we have an online class on Saturday and an in-person class on Tuesday, and I'm busy getting the kits ready for postage. So I thought it was a good opportunity to use this for coffee and card and our lives as well. And the 6 cards for the class, which I'll show you. I have shown you already, but I'll show you later in the week. This was the one that I was looking for that we did yesterday. So stamping and colouring. Okay, so let's layer these up now. Can't remember how I had it. Could have photographed it, couldn't I? That's often what I will do, is take a photograph in situ. Okay, and I think I'm going to add a bit of Mango Melody to this just to bring this out as well. So that wasn't my intention. My intention was just to stamp onto the designer series paper, but because I chose similar colours to my background, it's sort of disappearing. So put that right just by adding a little bit more colour. I could have cut out some different flowers, of course. Okay. So the paper is called Hues of Happiness. Cheers, Catherine. Thanks for popping on. I know you're busy. There we go. So it's not a huge amount. I'm not doing a huge amount of colouring. Really just those tips to lift that colour slightly. Petal tips. And then we're done. To use the other side. Just blend that in slightly. And this is almost, well, it's sort of petal pink going into Flirty Flamingo on the one side. There we go. Okay. That's better, it just stands out a little bit more. So I'm going to place this one down with a little bit of glue in the centre. And I'm doing that so I can tuck the leaves in behind, so I don't want to cover the whole thing with glue. Like so. And then these are going to have up on dimensionals. give them a little bit of interest and height. And you could also use your a pen or your, oh, I can't think of the word, bone folder, that's it, to give them a little bit of interest. You could also scrunch them up if you want to, if you could bear to do that, and then straighten them out a little bit for added texture. So let's have this one here, and then our little rose at the bottom. And then we're done. So I hope everybody has a nice day ahead planned for those that are watching in the morning. That, and then I've got my 2 colours of leaves. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. I'm actually going to trim the very bottom off. Yeah, it's very personal, isn't it, that scrunched look. Sometimes I think it looks really effective. Just cut off that one because it's going to be hidden. Yeah, it's very much a personal thing, isn't it? I think if you like the whole vintage look, then it's okay. Just putting a little glue on both sides of this. That. And same with this one. So there we go. Oh, brilliant. Jeanette's going to see some mothers do have them. I hope they've got air conditioning in the theatre. That is all I can say, Jeanette. So there we go. Let me just bring that up. Now we could add a little bit of bling. So we have coordinating glossy dots. They're these ones here. It's got the Melon Mambo, Mango Melody, Gorgeous Grape and Pool Party. So I think I might just add those in for a little bit of interest. And they're in 3 different sizes, 4 different colours. Just bring that pink in. One, 2 and 3. Ooh. Like so. And to finish it off, I might just add this rose on the inside, as I've got it spare. Oh, it's the wrong colour, isn't it? But I've got these cut off leaves that I can use. So let's do that. Okay, so just a little bit of glue on that one. Let's add that there. Thank you, Jeanette, and enjoy your play this afternoon. So I've got these tiny little offcuts that I cut off, which is perfect for just behind here. So literally the smallest amount of glue on there. And there. I've got this one here. And then we're done. And obviously you could stamp the image on the envelope as well, which is what we did yesterday. And yesterday we stamped it and coloured it in. Left myself much room to tuck that in, have I? There we go, that will do. There we go, so there's our inside, there's our front, and then yesterday's card, if I can find the envelope as well. They such luck. It's that one there. So it's a nice bright summery cards for you to match the weather that we have here in the UK. So thank you so much for joining me this morning. I will be back tomorrow, Thursday, at 7 p.m. So I hope you're able to join me then. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions on what I have created or what I've used, don't hesitate to message me and ask, or just add a comment. So this was stamped onto our designer series paper. Paper is called Hues of Happiness, and there's a whole series of different rainbow colours on the back, and then these stunning flowers on the front, which you can cut up and use in their own right, especially if you don't like colouring. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for your lovely comments. Do have a great day. I look forward to crafting with you again soon, and thanks for watching. Do take care, keep crafting. Bye for now.